Japan, Japan, Japan. Land of the rising sun, land of sushi, land of anime, and land of temples. Lots and lots of temples. Last year I spent about 2 months in Japan, and ever since I came back, all my friends always ask me, "Hey Brendan, you've been there for such a long time, can you give me any tips? Do you know any cool places? How did you get around? Didn't you have problems with the languages? Blah blah blah." And I'm always happy to answer because Japan was one of the, if not the coolest place that I've actually ever been to. And so I thought I'd just make this video. I've got a ton of footage from Japan, from all of the places I've been to, so I thought it might help you guys. And I'm going to keep this short, but if you do want another one, just hit the like button and that can be done no problemo. Now, the first thing people always ask me is, where should I go? Should I go to Tokyo, Osaka, or Kyoto? Now that becomes a difficult question. It depends on what kind of tourist you are. I would say start or finish in Tokyo. As cliche as it is, it was my favorite city. It's this huge metropolis, tons of things to do. But what many people don't realize is that Tokyo has this great mix between culture, modern buildings, things to do, foodie paradise. If you want to call yourself a foodie, just go to Tokyo and you will fall in love. Honestly, there's so much to do, from the anime culture, the drinking culture, cultural things, temples, museum, parks, anything. You want to experience everything in Japan in one place, just go to Tokyo. The next place would be Osaka. Now, Osaka is a foodie paradise. It's all centered around food. You go outside of your hotel, there are food stalls, and that's fantastic. But I would say choose Tokyo in front of Osaka. Now, the other one is Kyoto. Everyone is always in love about Kyoto. They see these awesome pictures on Instagram about the temples and they think, oh my god, it's gotta be amazing. Now, don't get me wrong, Kyoto is really nice. I mean, the Golden Pagoda, the Red Gates, the Imperial Palace, the monkeys next to the bamboo forest. It's super nice. But the thing about Kyoto is you have so much culture, so many things to do, that the city itself is not actually that interesting. So I would say a good mix in Japan would be having Tokyo and Kyoto. Kyoto providing you all of that culture, all of those sites that you want to see, and Tokyo providing the other side of Japan. And that's a good mix. But other than that, I would say a few gems are Nara. Now, Nara is famous for its deers. There's a huge deer park. You walk out of your hotel, you've got 20 deer surrounding you. They bump into you with their heads because they want cookies that are being sold. Deer food, which you can buy. It's not expensive. I did it, but they're a little aggressive. But you can get really cool photos like this one. I put it somewhere. So it's really cool. Spend 2 days there, 2 days, 1 night. And if you can, and I was really lucky to sort of do it by coincidence, go when there's a festival, because that's when the city really comes to life. There are night events, and then you go to the deer in the morning, then you go back to the deer at night with all the lanterns. It's beautiful. The other one is Nikko. Nikko is about 1.5 hours away in a train from Tokyo. I'll have a map somewhere on screen. And it's a World Heritage Site. But what that means is, because it's a little unknown, you won't get your normal drunk tourists there. And trust me, there are a lot of drunk Australian tourists in Japan. You will get more the people that want nature, that want culture. It's really nice. It's a tiny town. It's literally made out of 2 roads that you walk up and down and you're done. But the temple is beautiful. And then you can go up to some mountains with a huge lake, which in summer must be beautiful. And there are monkeys running around. And I saw one holding a toy gun, so that photo is somewhere. That was amazing. So if you're on that Instagram game, go there, you'll have a good time. My last one is Hiroshima. Now, Hiroshima obviously was destroyed during the Second World War. Terrible things happened. You can learn a lot about that in the museum, which is very moving, very touching. But also the city is really interesting. They've rebuilt the castle, for example, which is beautiful. The people in Hiroshima, they're incredibly friendly and welcoming. The food, fantastic. And then you can go to places like the Gate place. I will slaughter the name, so I'm not even going to attempt it, which you can see somewhere on screen here, which is beautiful. You take a ferry ride. It's a very different part of Japan. Now, one place I wouldn't recommend is Yokohama. Yokohama is renowned for being another really cool place to visit while in Tokyo, because it's so close. You can take the metro. I'd say it's a bit boring. There's not much to do. So unless you want to go on a Ferris ride, which is not that great, or you want to go on top of a building, save yourself your time and do something a little different for that. Now, in terms of getting around in Japan, do excuse me, I have some notes here because my brain is fried terrible. I'm an old man. In terms of getting around, people are always scared. They ask me, you don't speak Japanese, or do you speak Japanese? How did you get around? The answer is no. I had no clue what's going on. These people would talk to me and I would just smile and nod because I had no Japanese here. The word you would need to learn is sumimasen, which means excuse me, apologies, however you want to interpret it. Now that's important because in the metro you're going to get squeezed and you're always going to go sumimasen, sumimasen. But it's also if you want to ask someone sumimasen, pardon me, can I get your help? Do bear in mind, Japanese people do not speak English on the majority, or they do, but they're very shy to speak it, so they might seem very cold and friendly towards you. But the reality is they are welcoming. They're just very scared to embarrass themselves through their English. So my number one recommendation if you're going to Japan is get data on your phone. There are SIM cards. They cost $30 to $40 for 2 gigabytes for a month. They're quite expensive. You can always top it up. But that gives you access to Google Translate. Now, Google Translate was my savior in Japan. Wherever you go, you whip out your phone, show Google Translate, and it's done. You understand each other. And it also gives you access to Google Maps or City Mapper. City Map is the best thing in Tokyo to get around the metro. The metro is really overwhelming and confusing at first, but once you use City Mapper, it's really only getting on the right colors. If you've ever been to London or New York on the subway, it's pretty much the same. There's no real problem with that. The last thing about talking and communicating is a lot of English words, just say them in a bit of a Japanese way. So if you want the bus, just say bus or something like that, and people will understand you. Or if you want a sticker, as you can see here, my laptop is full of travel stickers. That's sort of my thing when I travel. Just say sticker des, and people will understand you, because if you say sticker, they have no clue what you're talking about. They'll just nod and say, no. But if you say sticker and put des behind it, maybe, now I'm not an expert in Japanese, but that's how I did it, people always understand you and they'll see yes or no, and it works out. Now, my other advice is that, when you go to Japan, people always stick to the routes. They go, if they're in Tokyo, they go from Asakusa, which is awesome, to Shibuya in the metro or by bus or by taxi. By the way, don't take taxis. It's a ripoff. 10 minutes, $50, no thank you. What I did is I actually bought a skateboard in Japan, and that's really weird, and it took me ages to carry it around, a lot of luggage. But it's really cool because Japan is Japanese cities are really skate or bike friendly. So what I would do if I was you is either get a bike through your hotel or hostel. I think there are city bikes as well. Walk it, or just get a skateboard or learn how to skate. I mean, that's cool doing that in Japan. And just go around the city. One thing to do is going from Shibuya to Asakusa, for example, through the Imperial Palace. You will discover the city like no one has ever done. Your friends, they go to the crossing, to the Starbucks to get their Frappuccino every day. You actually saw the city, and that's my advice. Now, the one thing is, skating is illegal-ish in Japan. If the police tells you to stop, go around the corner, carry on riding. Nothing happens. Honestly, that's it. And it's a great way to meet people as well. Like, I was skating with a GoPro strapped to my head, looking like an absolute idiot. And these people, I mean, I'll put some videos up here.
You say hello.
Oh! Hello, Germany. Hello, Germany. I am Japanese comedian.
Just came up to me and said, "Oh, how are you doing? Where you from?" I've never seen someone on a skateboard, especially if you're a tall white guy like me, on a skateboard in Japan in the middle of winter where there are no tourists around. You'll get attention. Just bear in mind, if you're a foreigner in Japan and you venture outside of Tokyo or Osaka, Kyoto, you will get attention. Even in places like Fujikawakuchiku, I slaughtered that, but that's another place I recommend. That's in the Fuji 5 Lakes, which during summer gets really busy, but during winter it's quite empty. Everyone will look at you, you're the foreigner, blah, 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 but they're really friendly. They're not in any creepy way. There's not a creepy way about that. That brings me to the other thing, which is safety, A lot of times when you travel around the world, you think there are dodgy areas, you shouldn't go out at night. Now in Japan, I'd actually say go out at night, because that's when the city is empty, and that's when there's a different vibe to it. I skateboarded around the Imperial Palace at 2 a.m. in the morning, And the lights you see, the vibes you get, the people, it's so different, especially if you do photography, you know, you're on that Instagram game or Snapchat game, or you do videography, or you just want to experience something else. Go out at night in Japan. It's not dodgy, it's not dangerous. Also the nightlife is really cool at night. Just avoid Nigerian clubs. That's my number one rule when going out in Japan or in Asia, most likely. That's what everyone's told me. They're often a scam, so do avoid that. They will try and lure you into their clubs. Don't do that. But just walk around the cities at night. It's really calm. It's a great way to explore the city. Then I'd say concerning accommodation. So obviously hotels are great. Like in Tokyo, you stay in Shibuya, awesome. You're in the middle of everywhere, paradise. If you're going for the cheaper route, like I did, you know, I'm broke as hell, you go for hostels. There's one chain I would really recommend, and that's Case Hostel. They have different places all over Japan, and the quality is always good. So wherever you go, you will have a comfortable bed, really nice shower facilities. Actually in Japan, everywhere you have speaking toilets. Really cool, really freaky at first. The showers are really modern. Everything's always super modern normally. So Case Hostel is really nice. Always a lot of nice people. It's geared towards Westerners, so you won't find many Asian tourists, but you will find all the drunk Australians and Brits and New Zealanders and Germans. And if you want to go have fun like that, or if you're traveling alone and you want to meet people to go out with, Case Hostel is fantastic. But even if you're, you know, a couple, a group of friends or whatever, and you just want to meet people through your travels, I've met so many people in K Hostel that I'm still in contact with, and it's just fantastic. Especially when you go out, you talk to each other, because, you know, I went to Japan without a plan. I was stupid. I knew I wanted to go to Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, and a few more, but I had no plan. And through meeting people and then telling me where to go, I got to experience Japan like I never thought I would, and I fell in love with that country. So that's an option. The other way is just to go on booking.com, look for good hostels with good reviews, and do that. It's really the no-brainer. That's what I always use, booking.com. But I think that's pretty much it for today. You know, Japan is an amazing country. You have beautiful architecture. You have temples galore. I got bored of temples for a while. You have technology like crazy. You go to big camera store, they're everywhere. The awesome one is in Akihabara, where all the technology is. And you will find everything. If you're a tech geek, you're sorted. If you like anime, you're sorted. There's everything for everyone. If you're a foodie or whatever you want to call yourself, sorted. The best food in the world. You have Michelin-star restaurants on the cheap. Not as cheap as Hong Kong, but super cheap. Just Google it. You will find fantastic places. Japan is a country for everyone. It's super safe. It's not that pricey. I live in London, and compared to London, it was actually quite cheap. And on that note, actually, before I forget, because I will, 7-Eleven and Watson's, they're your best friend. If it's late or during the day you need a snack, go to a 7-Eleven. They have fresh food, great prices, drinks, all the Japanese candy your stomach will ever want, because after that it probably won't want it anymore. But fantastic food on the cheap. So if you're on a budget, 7-Eleven is your best friend. And it's also called, in Asia, they call it Club 7, which means that if you go out and you go for pre-drinks, you go to 7-Eleven. That's just a little rule. So if you're alone and you're trying to find people to go out with, in a 7-Eleven you'll meet everyone. So that's really cool. But yeah, so there's tons of things to do in Japan. I can do another video on this if you guys want. Just leave a like. This is my first real video just talking to the camera, so I hope it went okay. I'm planning to do one about my trip to the North Korean border that I did around the same time. I will do a video on that, so if you want that, leave a comment below. If you have any questions, leave a comment, and if the comments get a lot of likes, then I will do a video or answer that. If you have any countries you want me to review that I've maybe been to, just ask that. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Go to Japan. It's amazing. Don't be scared. Just have fun, but go outside of the tourist routes, because Japan is a country you really want to explore. Because I bet you, no matter where you're from, even if you're from Korea or China next door, it's 180 degrees different. And that's what makes Japan just so special. So thank you very much for watching. My name's Brendan. You have a good day, and I'll catch you guys later. Sayonara.